In this short essay, we shall delve into the captivating world of pre-colonial African hairstyles, exploring their identity and profound cultural meaning before the advent of the transatlantic slave trade. Long before the era of European colonization and the transatlantic slave trade, African hairstyles served as a deep expression of cultural identity, spirituality, and social order. Each ethnic group across the continent boasted distinct hair traditions that communicated age, status, lineage, and even resistance. These hairstyles were not merely about aesthetics, they were a language, a spiritual connection, and a celebration of heritage. In numerous African societies, hair was considered sacred, a bridge between the living and the ancestors. Hairstyles varied considerably, each carrying deep symbolism. For example, social status and authority. Among the Wolof people of Senegal, royalty adorned themselves with towering, ornate braids, while commoners sported simple styles. In ancient Egypt, pharaohs donned false beards and wigs as symbols of divinity. Rites of passage. The Himba of Namibia coated their hair in ochise, a red ochre paste, to define marital status. Unmarried girls wore 2 braids, while married women displayed elaborate, mud-covered locks. Spiritual protection. The Karo and Suuma, Suri tribes of Ethiopia, used white chalk and clay to sculpt their hair into striking shapes, believing it warded off evil spirits and honored their ancestors. The use of earth-based mixtures in African hairstyling, you see, was both practical and deeply symbolic. Mud, clay, and ochre were not merely styling aids, but served as cultural markers, spiritual protectors, and even medicinal treatments. These traditions highlight the ingenuity of African beauty practices, which were rooted in sustainability and a profound connection to the land. The Crimson Crown, Himba women and their sacred ochre ritual. Under the vast Namibian sky, Himba women begin each day with an ancient beauty ritual that turns their bodies into living works of art. Their secret, ochise, that rather magical crimson paste that transforms their skin and hair into glowing copper masterpieces. Picture, if you will, a mother carefully mixing the sacred recipe passed down through generations. Rich red ochre from the earth, nourishing butterfat from their cattle, and fragrant resins that perfume the dry desert air while keeping pesky insects at bay. For Himba women, ochise is far more than cosmetic. It's their cultural signature. The radiant red hue isn't just admired, it's revered as the ultimate standard of beauty, a visual poem written in earth and fat. As the morning sun climbs higher, you'll see them lovingly applying this paste, coating every strand of hair and every inch of skin, in what becomes both their mate-up and their armor against the relentless African sun. Watch closely, and you'll notice the hairstyles tell their own story. Young girls wear 2 simple braids, framing their faces like parentheses, waiting to be filled with life's experiences. But when a woman marries, her hair transforms into elaborate ondetu, thick, ochise-coated dreadlocks that cascade down her back like ropes of red earth. These aren't just hairstyles, but visual milestones marking a woman's journey through life, each stage celebrated in ochre and tradition. In a world obsessed with synthetic beauty products, the Himba remind us that true beauty comes from the earth itself. Their ochise ritual is a daily reaffirmation of cultural pride, where the line between practical protection and artistic expression blurs as beautifully as the red paste on their skin at sunset. 2. Warrior's Canvas, the living art of Surma and Karo hairstyles. Deep in Ethiopia's Omo Valley, where the earth runs red and traditions run deeper, Surma and Karo warriors turn their hair into breathtaking battle standards. Imagine standing before a young Surma man as he carefully works river clay through his hair, sculpting it into fierce, horn-like projections that seem to defy gravity itself. This isn't vanity, it's a visual decoration of warriorhood, each sharp angle broadcasting his readiness to defend his people. The preparation is sacred. White chalk, ground from ancient riverbeds, is mixed with water to create striking patterns that do more than dazzle the eye. To the Karo people, these pale designs form a spiritual armor, believed to turn away evil spirits as effectively as a spear turns away danger. Before the famous Donga stick fighting tournaments, the valley echoes with laughter and concentration as young men spend hours becoming living art, adorning their clay-sculpted hair with feathers that whisper in the wind and beads that catch the African sun. What outsiders might mistake for mere decoration is actually a complex language of identity. The white chalk speaks of purity, the ochre-streaked clay shouts of connection to the land, and every added feather or bead adds another verse to their story. These hairstyles don't just sit atop their heads. They crown warriors, protect spirits, and carry forward traditions as old as the valley itself. In a world rushing toward modernity, the Surma and Karo people wear their history proudly, their hair standing as monuments to a culture that refuses to fade. The living sculptures, Mersey mud masterpieces. In the scorching heat of Ethiopia's Omo Valley, the Mersey people turn their hair into breathtaking works of living art. While their lip plates have captivated the world's imagination, their mud hairstyles tell an equally fascinating story. Picture women carefully mixing river clay with animal fat, their skilled hands moulding the mixture into hardened crowns that rise from their heads like architectural wonders. These aren't mere hairstyles, they're sculptural masterpieces that defy gravity and time. On special occasions, these earthen crowns transform into dazzling displays of nature's beauty. Feathers dance in the breeze from their peaks, carefully placed bones whisper of hunting prowess, and vibrant wildflowers bloom from the mud like miracles in the desert. Each adornment tells its own story, turning every wearer into a walking gallery of Mersey culture. But why mud, you might wonder? For the Mersey, this tradition is more than aesthetic. It's a bold declaration of identity in a land of diverse tribes. Their distinctive mud crowns serve as cultural fingerprints, instantly recognizable among the Omo Valley's many peoples. Yet there's brilliant practicality too. The sun-baked clay becomes nature's perfect hair gel, protecting tender scalps from the relentless African sun, while keeping every strand perfectly in place for weeks. It's a perfect marriage of beauty and function, where earth becomes art and tradition. Armor against the elements. 4. The sacred transformation, Xhosa rites of passage. Beneath the wide South African sky, Xhosa boys prepare for their greatest transformation. The ritual begins with the shaving of heads. Not just a haircut, but a symbolic shedding of childhood. As white clay is carefully applied to their scalps, they become living ghosts of their former selves, blank slates ready for rebirth. This is Ulvaluko, the sacred initiation where boys become men. When the trials are complete, a dramatic metamorphosis occurs. The white clay gives way to vibrant red ochre, indil, that stains their skin and hair like the African earth at sunset. This crimson mantle announces their new status to the world. No longer children, but Xhosa men, ready to shoulder the responsibilities of their community. Across the continent, hair tells countless other stories. Grandmothers teach granddaughters the secret language of braids, their fingers weaving generations of wisdom into intricate patterns. Village markets buzz with women trading secrets of shea butter and aromatic oils, each recipe a treasured inheritance. From the elaborate beaded braids of warriors to the simple oiled coils of farmers, every style carries meaning, deeper than mere adornment. They are living testaments to identity, history, and the unbroken chain of African heritage. The comb may pass through hair, but these traditions pass through time, connecting ancestors to the unborn in an endless cycle of cultural pride. What we might call hairstyling was, and remains, nothing less than the art of wearing one's soul for all to see. 5. The sacred craft of African braiding. In pre-colonial Africa, Braiding was far more than just hairstyling. It was an art form, a language, and a sacred tradition passed down through generations. Imagine skilled hands working for hours, sometimes even days, weaving stories into hair. Each braid carried meaning, telling the world who you were, where you came from, and what you represented in your community. Take the Fulani people of West Africa, for example. Their famous Fula Fula braids weren't just beautiful, they were statements of identity. Long, slender braids swayed with golden beads, a shimmering declaration of wealth and nobility. Cowrie shells, carefully woven in, whispered of fertility and prosperity. And for married Fulani women, a single, elegant braid down the center, the kurul, was their silent but powerful way of saying, "I am taken." Then there were the Yoruba of Nigeria, masters of intricate updos. For festivals and sacred ceremonies, they wrapped threads into elaborate suku styles, turning hair into crowns. Some designs, like the kolese, tight basket-like braids, were so special, only royalty could wear them. And we can't forget Bantu knots, those beautifully coiled spirals born from the Bantu-speaking peoples of southern and central Africa. More than just a practical way to protect hair, these knots were symbols of unity, worn proudly during gatherings to show the unbreakable ties of family and community. Braiding wasn't just about looking good, it was about belonging, honoring tradition, and carrying the wisdom of ancestors in every twist and knot. 6. The language of adornment. Beads, metals, and nature's hair secrets. Picture this. A Maasai warrior in Kenya, carefully weaving crimson beads into his sister's braids. Each tiny glass sphere tells a story, the red ones singing of courage and community, the blue ones humming with the energy of the vast African sky, the white ones whispering prayers for health and purity. This wasn't mere decoration, it was a vibrant, wearable language passed down through generations. Meanwhile, along the Nile, Egyptian noblewomen transformed their hair into walking temples. Imagine the gleam of golden threads and lapis lazuli woven into elaborate wigs, not just fashion statements, but sacred connections to the divine. Even their hair extensions, crafted from palm fibers or donated locks, carried spiritual weight in the land of Kemet. But beauty wasn't just about adornment. It required deep wisdom. West African grandmothers would warm shea butter between their palms before working it through their daughters' hair, creating a protective shield against the elements. Along the Swahili coast, women anointed their strands with fragrant Milani oil, its botanical magic encouraging lush growth. And in the arid north, castor oil's thick richness became nature's answer to the relentless desert sun, keeping hair strong and supple against all odds. From the marketplace to the royal court, every bead placed, every oil applied, was an act of cultural preservation, a testament to Africa's timeless beauty rituals that saw hair care as both art and ancestral science. Conclusion: a legacy of resilience and beauty. The pre-colonial history of African hairstyles reveals a world where hair was far more than aesthetics. It was a living archive of culture, spirituality, and resistance. From the ochre-coated locks of the Himba to the sculpted mud crowns of the Mersey, these traditions showcase Africa's ingenuity and deep connection to nature. Today, as braids, beads, and natural hair reclaim their place in global fashion, they carry forward a legacy that colonialism could not erase.